What is going on, guys? We're back with another video, and we are doing a recap of the second and third round of the Packers draft. Hopefully, there's no more picks after this. Hopefully, we don't trade up. I don't think we would, since we don't even have a fourth-round pick anymore after the trade up for Savage. A lot of people calling that an overtrade, and honestly, I called it a reach, but looking at what, the Colts and the Ravens kind of trading back a little bit right after we selected him, it seemed, I think they both had him very high. So, honestly, I think even though Savage cost us 2 fourth-round picks, I think he's going to be a huge playmaker. It was a good decision. But on to the picks that we had. Elgton Jenkins, a great lineman. Obviously, you had a guy like, I believe, Reisner went a few picks before us. It seems like a lot of great players have went right before our picks. And then we had Eric McCoy, I believe, was there still. But a guy like Jenkins is huge for us because, of course, the Packers not really necessarily drafting for starting need, but more or less a replacement, or even a guy that, if he does play enough, he could become a starter. Really looking to get a guy to replace a guy like Bulaga in the future. Jenkins thinks he can play all positions, I believe. The biggest thing that stood out to me is the fact that after the draft, or not after the draft, after he retires, he wants to be a line coach. I think that just signifies somebody that lives for the sport. That's what we want, with a guy like Gary, who we can't even tell. He's an athletic freak that really would probably play wherever he could, succeed. I don't even know if that would be football, so hopefully we can coach him up. But a guy like Jenkins just seems like a pure football player. He's a beast. He's big. I think he probably would fit better as a guard than a tackle, even though I think he does prefer tackle. I think he'd be great as a guard, which, of course, is, at the moment, the biggest need for the Packers on the offensive line. I think he's good. I think it's a great pick. There was some wide receivers on the board still. The Packers, I think, like I said in, I can't remember if it was the Savage, recap or opinion, but I think the Packers, I think we really are confident with the guys we have. Of course, coming on to another receiver, the first actual technical offensive skill position player, we take Jace Sternberger, the tight end from Texas A&M, a guy that, he's not the fastest guy in the world, not the biggest guy in the world, but he is pretty damn sure-handed, a good route runner. I'm honestly not 100% sure if he's a great blocker or not, but he's a very good guy that can catch a contested pass, which ironically isn't something Rodgers necessarily throws, which kind of worries me. Maybe it's because he doesn't trust many guys other than maybe Devontae on the team. I will say there was a couple of throws last year where he did give Jimmy Graham a shot at it, a couple of dangerous ones. Speaking of, hospital passes where you completely just leave a guy to, if you catch it, bro, thanks, man, but you're trying to kill the guy. I think that's what Rodgers wants out of his tight end. I think he just wants a dependable guy that can catch the ball whenever he needs to, just throw it in there. He wants the guy that's wide open downfield, but he also wants a guy that, can underneath just catch a ball no matter where he is, whoever's on him. I think that's what Sternberger is. He's not a great guy for, catching the ball and breaking tackles, which is ironically pretty much what the Packers live for. At least they used to. We kind of fallen apart there a little bit, but we used to live for the yards after the catch type of situation. But I think Sternberger is a sure-handed guy. I think he can honestly be kind of a Jason Witten for us. The question is he that good of a blocker? Honestly, I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't know. I only know a limited bit about guys that are outside of the first round, and people want to call me out on it as if I'm calling myself the greatest scout analyst guy of all time. I'm just giving my opinion on the Packers pick, and then I think I give an opinion on Kyler Murray, which, big deal there. It's kind of a fun thing. I'm not some super expert. Nobody subscribes to me for in-depth analysis of every single player of all time. There's other people that you can go to for that. But honestly, I think with Savage probably being our best pick of the draft, in my opinion, I really do like Jenkins. I think you did have to go offensive lineman in the second round early on. I think we did lose a guy. I honestly think Reisner might have been one of our top prospects, if not Ford. But I think, honestly, something tells me Reisner was our number one lineman in the second round. And, of course, he's gone. We love farm boys like that. But, of course, couldn't get him, just like we were mentioning, just a few picks away from so many talented players this year. I think Devin Bush would have been one of our top guys, if not the top guy. As much as I think this will be the end of our draft for a couple of rounds, something tells me we could trade back up and get a linebacker. Ironically, in our Packers, I believe, was it a realistic rebuild? We wanted linebacker early, just missed out on it a few times, and ended up with nobody until like the 5th or 6th. It's kind of what's happening here, and ironically, that becomes our biggest need right now. I mean, even before the draft, it was debatably our biggest need, and right now, after the positions we're filling, it's 100% our biggest need now. We're going to have to load up on a few linebackers here near the end of the draft. It doesn't matter how good they are. We need to take a couple of shots. We just can't come out of this draft without a linebacker. There's just no chance, a coverage linebacker anyways, there's just no chance that's a good decision at all. And yeah, I mean, that's my my recap, my reaction, my thoughts of the 2nd and 3rd round. We might do like a full draft, like, who had the best draft or draft opinions later. I think, we made a Josh Rosen video. I think the Cardinals, they did a decent job covering themselves by getting Andy Isabella, trading Josh Rosen for that. I think, hearing this whole Doug Baldwin news of him potentially not playing football anymore because of all the injuries and just hits he's taken over the years, I think it was a huge pick for them. I believe they got DK Metcalf, if I'm not mistaken. I think even if Doug was perfectly fine, that was a pick they needed to make. Seattle hasn't had a big guy since Jimmy Graham, and even then, as Packer fans know, he's not the same guy that, the Saints had. He never, even with the Seahawks, he wasn't the same guy. So I think that was a huge pick for a big wide receiver. They needed one regardless, I think. And I think they finally got one. Somebody that, he can stretch the field. Everyone's worried about his agility and all that. The Seahawks have plenty of guys that can run routes. Lockett's a great guy for that. I know he is kind of a stretch the field guy too, but I think it was a great pick for them. I think the Jags are really killing the draft. I haven't really been paying attention to them, though, outside of the first 2 rounds, but the first 2 picks they had were very good. I'm not going to stretch this video to 10 minutes, but let me know what you guys think of the Packers draft. Let me know what you guys think of your guys' draft. I think the Bears, finally getting a draft pick. David Montgomery was a huge, really good pick for them. The Bears don't have a whole lot of needs. Running back, at least running back depth is definitely a big need for them. We can't really expect Tariq Cohen to go out there and start. There's just no chance that's going to be, that's something they can allow to happen. Chase Winovich to the Patriots. That is such a Patriots move. He kind of reminds me of like a Kyle Van Noy guy. I think that's such a Patriots move to make that play. I'm a little bit shocked by the, N'Keal Harry. I thought maybe they would have traded down and maybe went Andy Isabella, everyone making the whole white wide receiver joke. But yeah, no more stretching the video for me. Hope you guys are enjoying the draft. Hopefully I'm not prematurely making this as, maybe the Packers straight up late 3rd. But hope you guys enjoy your night. Tomorrow will be 2 videos. Don't know if there's going to be any draft videos tomorrow. There may be one final one and then a rebuild on Sunday. So yeah, if you liked the video, maybe like it. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. If you have any suggestions on who the Packers should have taken with any of their picks, let me know. How do you think we did so far? I think it's been a real 50-50 draft, but I think the 2nd and 3rd round has been a little bit more safer. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys come back in the next video. But until next video, see ya!